All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And I got to tell you, I've been battling with it for the past week. I've been sick for almost 2 weeks now, and I'm at the tail end of it. There's something going around that last 2 to 3 weeks, and I really wasn't even able to talk over the last 4 to 5 days. So I'm finally to the point where I'm feeling better, and my voice is coming back, and so I can get back to doing some videos. I actually did get out and see a movie yesterday. I saw Love Hurts, and I should have a review for that up later today. But I'm still dealing with it in my lungs, and it's just terrible. But there is something going around. 2 things I wanted to cover this morning and talk about. First of all, the Puppy Bowl is today. And I wanted to talk about the Puppy Bowl first, because people are just assuming there's going to be footage shown at the Puppy Bowl. And I am not 100% convinced that is going to happen. And here's why. Not once has James Gunn came out and said there's going to be a sneak peek at Superman at the Puppy Bowl. Not once has Warner Brothers come out and said, we're going to have a sneak peek of Superman at the Puppy Bowl. All they've said is that the Puppy Bowl, James Gunn released that video the other day about his dog. And it was funny because I posted about how James Gunn has to make it all about him. And people are like, it's not about him, it's about his dog. And I said, yeah, it's his dog. It's just funny the mental gymnastics that people do. And they're putting a spotlight on crypto, obviously, during the Puppy Bowl, but that doesn't mean they're going to show any new footage. Not once did they promise that they were going to show new footage. I will be shocked if they show anything new. I'm not even going to watch it. I'm not going to tune in. This is what Warner Brothers does. They're hoping that people tune in, hoping to see something for Superman. But they haven't said there's going to be something for Superman. Nobody has said that. There might be a couple of trades saying that, Warner Brothers opted to promote it during the Puppy Bowl, but that doesn't mean they're going to show anything. They're just promoting Superman. They have the logo. If you watch, the Puppy Bowl and the logo and everything, it's got the Superman logo in there. They're going to be talking about crypto. But does that mean they're going to show you anything for Superman? No. And I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers is doing this just to drive up viewership on Animal Planet. That's how Warner Brothers functions as a company. They will trick you and do a bait and switch. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. I will be surprised. And if it happens, great. But I don't think it's going to happen. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about here is yesterday or the day before, there was a video released by John Campea telling people to move on from the Snyderverse. And in this video, he talks about how Warner Brothers didn't do anything to Zack Snyder. Oh, they didn't do anything to Zack Snyder? Well, let's look at the facts here. Number one, they made him cut 30 minutes out of Batman vs. Superman just so they could sell more tickets to Batman vs. Superman. And it backfired on the studio. It backfired so bad that in the second week it had a massive drop because the movie was borderline incoherent. And Warner Brothers knew they messed up. The very next day after the movie released, they actually released a deleted scene on YouTube. It's the one where Lex Luthor is communicating with Steppenwolf. And you sit there and watch and go, why did they leave this out? Why? That's how Warner Brothers functions. So that was the first thing they did to Zack Snyder, make him cut 30 minutes out of that movie to try and sell more tickets. The movie still almost made $900 million worldwide, but it should have made a lot more. Now, then you have Zack Snyder's Justice League, where his daughter had actually passed away, and they used that as an opportunity to push him out of the way, bring in Joss Whedon, and they redid Justice League and turned it into a Marvel-type film. And this was after he left. He could no longer fight the studio. And there is a quote by Zack Snyder out there where he talks about how he had to battle with the studio on Zack Snyder's Justice League, at the point. And he just couldn't fight anymore. He had to go be with his family and deal with the tragedy. And they took that as an opportunity to butcher that film. And we've heard about the abuses with Ray Fisher. We've heard about the abuses with Gal Gadot. We heard about the abuses with Ben Affleck. During the reshoots, he almost jumped off of a building. This is Warner Brothers. This is what they did. And yes, they allowed Zack Snyder to come back and finally finish his version of the film. But it was too little too late. And so, for John Campea to say that nothing happened to Snyder is a straight-up lie. It's all out there for people to see. You can go read about it yourself. I covered this in my videos in the past. It was horrendous. Horrendous. And who is John Campea to tell you or I or anybody else to move on? If you are passionate about something and you love something and it brings joy in your life, why would you move on? Why would you move on from hoping that you get a conclusion to what some consider to be the greatest comic book trilogy of all time? Now, I myself consider all the early DCEU films as part of canon. But I still want to see David Ayer's version of Suicide Squad. But I loved Wonder Woman. I loved Aquaman. I thought those movies were really good. Suicide Squad. I want to see David Ayer's Suicide Squad. I really liked the version that they released in theaters, but I would like to see his version because I know it's going to be so much better and connect everything. I liked everything up through Aquaman. And so you replace Justice League with Zack Snyder's Justice League, and you've got a great set of films, some of which we haven't seen yet. Like I said, they've got to release David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Those are the films I really liked. And then Black Adam started to bring it back around. And I really liked that movie too. Everything else, I don't care about. Everything else turned into a comedy. Right after Aquaman, everything, with Shazam, everything turned into a comedy from there and after. Ridiculous. So no, nobody has the right to tell you to move on. I don't come on my YouTube channel and tell my viewers what to do or how to think. I present the information and give commentary. I'm not telling you to go see Superman. I'm not telling you not to go see Superman. Hey, if you're excited for it, more power to you. If that's what you enjoy, great. I hope it comes to fruition. I hope it's everything you want it to be. But to tell other people who like versions of these characters after they were just stolen away from you to move on is ignorance. Absolute ignorance. And, you've got Slav on YouTube who tells everybody to move on. And he even posted yesterday on one of my comments that just because I made a comment, he's going to do a video on it, on this same topic. And what's crazy about this is he is constantly telling everybody to move on, and he's constantly bashing Snyder fans. You know who really hasn't moved on? Those people who don't like Snyder. I barely ever talk about Snyder on my channel. My channel is not Snyder-centric. The guy's amazing. He did amazing stuff for DC, but he's not there right now. He's not there. So no, I don't have a reason to talk to him day after day after day, but you know who does? People like Slav. People like John Campea. They can't move on. They are keeping the Snyderverse more alive than I think the Snyder fans are. They're the ones that are constantly talking about it. And this is a testament. I'm just telling you guys, this is a testament to how important those films are. If they weren't being talked about, we wouldn't be where we are today. They were polarizing. One way or another, they were polarizing. And they still have people talking today. That's crazy. That's crazy. There isn't another franchise like this that is talked about like this years later. But they have such a hatred for Snyder. They tell everybody else to move on, but they won't move on. If Slav has really moved on and he's excited for Superman, that's all he would talk about. He would do nothing but do positive videos about Superman. But that's not what he does. It's not what these people do. They do not have a right to tell anybody what to do. I don't have a right to tell anybody what to do. The reason I started my channel years ago, and everybody who's followed me for a long time knows this, I was going to start my channel is why I hate WB and DC. Because of what Warner Brothers has done to these characters over the years. And then they announced Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I kind of pulled away from that. And I got excited because I thought something amazing was going to happen. And the release was amazing. In fact, Warner Brothers stocks have never been so high following the days, after that had been released. And for the studio to walk away from that, it's just stupid business decisions. Stupid business decisions. I saw somebody on Twitter today try to tell me that Batman vs. Superman, even the theatrical version, was a failure because it cost $228 million to make, and it made over almost $880 million. Movies don't usually make like 4 times their budget. It could have done a lot more had the studio not meddled. So these individuals need to take a step back and look at themselves. Maybe they're the ones that need to move on and just stop talking about it. But because of that, I'm going to be doing a bigger push on Twitter, and I'm going to be using Restore the Snyderverse, sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix. I'm going to be using those hashtags because you know what? Why not? It pisses these people off. It irritates them. And I'm actually going to show you something. I was reading a Batman comic yesterday, and I thought this was perfect. Let's take a look at this. All right, guys, so here it is. This is a woman who was talking to Batman and about a man who had just been killed. And she said to Batman, I just don't understand. He was a good man. Who looks at this world, and thinks it needs one less good man? And here was Batman's response. The selfish men. The ones who see the good men standing in their way. You know who the selfish men are? James Gunn. Warner Brothers. They're the ones who see the good men standing in their way. They see Zack Snyder as a threat to their universe. They see the Snyder fans as a threat to their universe. They have to wipe out everything else to have their singular vision. I couldn't have said it better myself. All right, guys, so there you have it. I wanted to get this video out there. I'm in pain today. I haven't felt good, so I didn't mean this video to sound probably as angry as it did, but I had to get this video out there. The bottom line is nobody has the right to tell you to move on from something you enjoy. Nobody does. Nobody does. And anybody who says that is ignorant. They're the ones that need to move on. All right, guys, there you have it. Please chime off below. We will see you guys on the next video.